My wife texted, "I cleared out the safe. New life with Ryan." I replied, "Have fun with the money." She didn't know I'd swapped it all for counterfeit bills. The Secret Service visit was revealing. I'm Lucas, 42, male. I always believed marriage thrived on trust, but needed a safety net of caution. I assess risks professionally, and for 20 years with Sophia, 39, I thought our greatest risk was market volatility. I was mistaken. The real danger was the creeping poison of entitlement I hadn't accounted for. Our life was cushy, built on my long hours and savvy investments. Sophia hadn't worked since our daughter went to college 5 years ago, instead spending her days on social brunches, high-end shopping, and a vague discontent I could never quite grasp. The gap between us had grown into a silent, unspoken void. The first warning came 3 months ago. I was installing a new security camera in our home study, checking the footage to test the angle. It recorded audio, too. Playing it back, I heard Sophia on the phone, her voice hushed but thrilled, a tone she hadn't used with me in years. "No, he's clueless, Ryan," she said. "The safe's the key. At least $100,000 in there. His emergency stash, he calls it. It'll be our emergency stash." A gleeful chuckle followed. "Once we've got it, we're gone. A fresh start. God, I'm so done with this dull, predictable life." Ryan? The name hit like a punch. Ryan was our gym trainer, a charming, cliché-spouting hustler half her age with tacky tattoos and a flashy grin. My blood chilled, but panic isn't in my playbook. The pain was deep, a seismic crack in my core, but outwardly, a sharp, cold focus took over. She didn't want a divorce. She planned to rob me and vanish. This wasn't a marital spat. It was a heist. My first urge was to confront her, yell, tear down the pretense of our life. But that would have been emotional, reckless. Instead, I leaned on logic. She'd revealed her scheme. Now I'd craft my counterplay. For 2 weeks, I played the part, acting normal while setting my plan in motion. Step 1, the safe. I went to the bank, withdrew the full $100,000 in cash. I documented the stacks, serial numbers, and withdrawal receipt. Then I deposited it all into a new account, solely in my name. Step 2 required research. I found an online company selling high-quality prop money for film productions. It looks and feels convincingly real, but each bill is marked "for motion picture use only" in fine print, legal to own but not to pass as currency. I ordered $100,000 in fake hundreds. When they arrived, I neatly arranged the counterfeit bills in the safe, exactly where the real cash had been. Step 3, evidence. I saved the security camera's audio file, kept the prop money receipt. I built a quiet, airtight case, waiting for her move. The text came last Tuesday during a quarterly finance meeting. "Sophia, cleared the safe, starting over with Ryan. Don't look for me." I stared at the message, a battle cry from the front lines of her betrayal. Fury simmered deep, but my training kicked in. I pictured her and Ryan somewhere on the road, thrilled with their score, thinking they'd pulled off the perfect crime. I typed my reply, each word precise and cold. "Me, enjoy the money." Then I returned to my meeting. When it ended, I activated my plan. Credit cards. I logged into my bank portal. Sophia was an authorized user on 3 high-limit cards. Click, 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 user removed. I reported the cards as held by someone no longer permitted to use them. Deactivated instantly. Locks. I called an emergency locksmith to change every lock on the house that night. Lawyer. I sent a screenshot of Sophia's text to my attorney, a guy I'd used for business but who also handled messy divorces. My email was short. "Tom, see attached. Sophia has abandoned the marriage and taken what she thinks is a major marital asset. Start divorce proceedings immediately on grounds of abandonment and infidelity. I'll call tomorrow." Passwords. I spent 30 minutes updating every password for our shared accounts. Streaming, shopping, all in my name. I came home to a silent house. Her closet was half empty, her jewelry case gone. The study door was open, The safe's heavy steel door swung wide, empty as expected. A strange calm settled over me. The trap was set. Waiting was the hardest part. 3 days later, Friday afternoon, the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. I opened it to two people, a man and a woman in crisp professional suits, not salespeople. "Lucas Reed?" the man asked, tone flat, official. He flashed a badge. "Agent Harper, U.S. Secret Service. This is Agent Lynn. Can we talk?" My heart pounded, but I stayed composed. This was it. The bomb had gone off. "Of course, agents, come in." They stepped into the entryway, eyes scanning every detail. We sat in the living room, a space Sophia had expensively decorated, now feeling like a sterile showroom. "Mr. Reed," Agent Harper began, "we're here about your wife, Sophia Reed." "My soon-to-be ex-wife," I corrected, steady. "What about her?" "She and a man named Ryan Carter were arrested this morning in Reno," Agent Lynn said, taking over. "They tried to buy a car from a dealership with a large cash payment. The manager grew suspicious of the bills and called authorities. The bills were counterfeit." I nodded slowly, letting them guide the conversation. "I see. That's unfortunate for them." Agent Harper leaned in, eyes sharp. "The amount was $100,000, Mr. Reed. Your wife claimed she took the money from a personal safe in this house. She thought it was real." This was the moment. My defense hinged on the next few minutes. I took a breath. "Agents, this may sound unusual, but I've documented everything. I'm the victim of a planned theft. The counterfeit money was my safeguard." For the next 30 minutes, I laid it all out. I described the growing distance in our marriage, my suspicions, and the incriminating audio from the security camera. I played it for them on my phone. I showed the bank records for the $100,000 withdrawal and deposit into a secure account. I presented the receipt for the motion picture prop money. Finally, I showed Sophia's text. Agent Lynn read it, a flicker of something, surprise, maybe admiration in her eyes. "And your reply was, 'Enjoy the money.'" It felt fitting, I said. She could have the paper, not my cash. Agent Harper exhaled slowly, leaning back. "Mr. Reed, passing counterfeit currency is a serious federal crime. We were investigating you as a possible source of the bills." "I understand," I said, "but I never passed them. I placed legal prop currency, which I'm allowed to own, in my locked safe in my home. My wife, without my knowledge or consent, stole it, and, with her accomplice, transported it across state lines to use as real money. Her text shows she thought she was stealing legitimate funds. Her intent was to defraud me. Her actions after that are, I believe, her own responsibility." The agents exchanged a glance. They knew I was right. My story wasn't just believable, it was meticulously, undeniably backed up. I wasn't the criminal. I was the victim who outplayed his betrayer. The visit got more interesting when they shared details about Ryan. He wasn't just a trainer. He had 2 prior fraud convictions, a pattern of charming and scamming wealthy, unhappy women. Sophia wasn't his partner. She was his target, his ticket to what she thought was my fortune. Her fresh start was just his latest con. She was both the getaway driver and the bankroll. "Your wife claimed you were a controlling, abusive husband, taking money she was entitled to in order to escape," Agent Harper said, watching me. "A typical excuse for a con artist's accomplice," I replied. "I have 20 years of financial records showing the lifestyle I provided, no history of abuse, but there's a recording of her laughing about robbing me." They left an hour later with copies of my evidence. They made it clear I'd be a key witness in their case against Ryan and, to a lesser extent, Sophia. As I shut the door, the adrenaline faded, replaced by a deep, empty sense of vindication. She wanted a new life. Now the government was giving her one. Update 1. The fallout has been rapid and messy. Sophia was released on bail, funded by her stunned parents, who took out a home equity loan. Ryan, a flight risk with a criminal record, was denied bail. He's still in federal custody. Sophia's one jailhouse call wasn't to a lawyer but to me. I let it go to voicemail. The message was a frantic, tear-soaked rant. "Lucas, how could you? You framed me. You know I wouldn't. It was your money. I deserved it. You have to fix this. Call your lawyers. Call the police. Tell them it was a mistake. You've destroyed my life." No apology. No trace of remorse. Just pure, unfiltered entitlement from someone who'd never faced real consequences. Her life was ruined not by her actions, adultery, theft, conspiracy, but by me refusing to be her victim. I sent the voicemail to my lawyer, who suggested a restraining order, which I filed. Then came her family's calls. Her mother, Margaret, called sobbing, accusing me of being a cruel, vengeful monster for trapping her daughter. "She made a mistake, Lucas. She got caught up with a bad guy. You're her husband. You're supposed to protect her, not send her to jail." "Margaret," I said, voice icy. "I stopped being her husband when she chose to rob me and run off with another man. She chose to steal. She chose to lie. And she chose to try passing fake money. Her consequences are hers." Her father called next. He tried to intimidate, threatening to hire lawyers to sue me for emotional distress and malicious entrapment. "Go for it," I told him. "I'm sure the U.S. Attorney's Office will love your civil suit against their key witness. Make sure your lawyer subpoenas the recording of Sophia laughing about stealing from me. That'll play great in court." Silence. The threats stopped. They genuinely thought they could bully me into undoing the reality Sophia created. They were wrong. Final update. The past 8 months have been a slow, grueling process of legal untangling. The divorce finalized 3 months ago. It was surprisingly uncontested. With overwhelming evidence of her abandonment, infidelity, and pending federal charges, her legal stance was hopeless. The judge gave me a heavily favorable settlement. She got almost nothing, as her criminal actions were deemed a severe violation of marital trust, nullifying spousal support claims. The federal case wrapped up last month. Ryan Carter, facing a long sentence as a repeat offender, took a plea deal and testified against other co-conspirators in unrelated scams. He got 7 years in federal prison. Sophia's fate was the talk of our old social circle. Faced with damning evidence, including my testimony and Ryan turning on her, she pled guilty. The judge showed leniency for her first offense and likely manipulation by a career criminal. She avoided jail. Her sentence: 5 years probation, a $10,000 fine, and 500 hours of community service. And, of course, a permanent felony conviction. The aftermath for her was a total social and familial collapse. Her country club friends vanished. Her parents, financially strained by her legal fees, treat her with begrudging duty. I heard she's living in their basement. The felony record makes meaningful work nearly impossible. She's a pariah, a whispered warning at socialite events. As for me, I sold the house, erasing the last traces of our shared life. I took some of the real money from the safe and traveled solo through South America, something I'd always wanted but Sophia had dismissed as too rough. The revenge wasn't loud or dramatic. It was quiet, calculated, and complete. It was the natural, logical outcome of her actions. She thought she was escaping with $100,000 and a new life. Instead, she ran into a federal trap I didn't even have to set. She wanted a fresh start with Ryan. She got one. A new life with a criminal record, no money, and no prospects. She gambled our 20-year marriage for fool's gold and lost everything. I just let her. And in doing so, I saved myself. The best risk management I ever pulled off.